Hello there, Star Wars toy fans. This is Jim, and welcome to my workbench. We're in my garage right now, and the noise you hear happens to be the heater right there, because it's rather cold here in the Pacific Northwest. And this is just a much easier space for me to work, where I have a little bit more room. This is a parts vehicle that I have. So if the motor isn't working, landing gear isn't working, maybe there are some issues with the mechanism that's broken on the inside, the first thing you must do is you must remove the stickers. Now, this is not an idea of my own. This came from Dave at Toy Polloi, and that is using just regular charcoal lighter fluid and soaking your sticker in the lighter fluid. Now, I happen to have the lighter fluid here in this cup, and so basically I'm just going to soak it here, which I've already been letting it do for quite some time. And then what you end up doing is just taking a knife. This is a rather sharp X-Acto knife. You may want to use just a regular knife and just pry it under. And I'll demonstrate that in just a second. There are about 8 stickers you have to remove to get the two halves of the fuselage apart. So there are these 2 stickers back here on the rear of the engines. There's 2 stickers on either side of the nacelle, one on the outside, one on the inside, and then vice versa there. And then on the reverse side of the cockpit, there's one there and one there. Once you remove those 8 stickers, then you can remove the 2 halves. But let's just show you what you can do with this. So we have this sticker right here, and I'm just going to lightly, see how nicely that popped off? And now I got to get it off my cardboard. Really, really easy. They don't always come off quite that nice. Sometimes, as you can see there, it doesn't come off hardly at all. But I would say in 9 times out of 10, the stickers are going to come off, and then you're going to be able to salvage all of them. And the parts, since this is the parts vehicle, I'm going to save some of these stickers for the one that I just picked up at the toy show. Now, if you notice that, see, it's not coming up all the way. Well, what you want to do is just take a little more lighter fluid and then go underneath it and just kind of work your way back and forth like so. And then eventually that thing, oops, sorry about that. Eventually this thing will just pry right up. Yep, there we go. Okay, so once you get your stickers off, and remember, it's just the 8 stickers. This was just for demonstration purposes because I wanted everything ready to go. There are 12 screws you need to remove. 2 on the top, and then 10 on the underside. So 4 on the cockpit, 2 on each engine nacelle, and then 2 in the rear. Once you have removed those 12 screws, also remove your gun if you have it, then you can take the 2 halves apart. Now, a number of issues may come with the Y-wing itself. You could have broken landing gear pegs right here, or in the case of this one, that one is broken, and I'll show you how to fix that. You may have some broken gears up front. Your motor may not be working. Okay, so how do you repair all of these things? Well, first let's take a close look at the Y-wing itself. So right here we have the 2 contacts. When this contact meets that one, that's what makes the buzz, meaning the motor move up top. We'll remove the pilot seat there. And so what happens is that there is a plastic reed right here, and that spins against this motor. And you'll notice how it's rotating where the gun would be. The gun turret sits right up there. So the electronic signal is sent through those capacitors and resistors, and then it causes the motor to turn and makes the gun rotate. Very, very simple process. Here we have the sliding mechanism for the landing gear. And since I don't have the top on, it makes it a little bit difficult to see. Okay, I'm trying to zoom out here. Alright. So as I slide this forward, my landing gear is down, then bring it back, my landing gear comes all the way up. And that's something that you're going to want to test with the top part of the fuselage attached. But nonetheless, this thing should slide back and forth. And then these little arms go into holes right inside the rear landing gear. You can see where those holes are. And each one of these arms has gear on that. Now, if one of these happens to be broken, these little pegs here, I'll show you how to fix that. Okay, and I've had that happen not only in this Y-wing, but also in my 1985 A-wing. And incidentally, this happens to be where the bomb holder goes. Chances are your ship still has that. Okay, well, how do you get the motor started? Well, very easy. Our armature is on either side, and so you're going to take some oil. You can use some 3-in-1, or this is special plastic oil. You can see right there. We'll zoom in. And you're going to oil right there at the end of the armature, and then you're going to oil right there, and then just kind of work that around, and then plug your batteries in and press it. It should go make a real nasty noise. Simple as that. I've got just about every single motor to work on these vintage Kenner toys, with the exception of the A-wing. That's because the brushes had rusted through on the inside. And if that's the case, well, you're going to have to basically get a new motor or somehow get new brushes for it. All right, so what do you do if your landing gear is broken, like that peg there was? Well, there's one screw that holds everything together, okay? So we'll put that screw right there. And incidentally, this is a nice little thing to hold your screws. Auto mechanic places use it all the time. And then in case you lose a screw, got a guitar string there. In case you lose a screw, this is real nice little telescoping magnet, handy to find things. And it attaches to everything else that's steel. Okay, so you want to make sure that this arm comes off here, and notice how it is assembled together, okay? And this piece will, in all likelihood, fall off. It's where your turret attaches, and this little peg goes into there, and then this sits right on top of that, and then this peg goes into that hole. Now this whole housing comes off really nicely, okay? Should come off as one unit, and then all you need to do is let's pull out these little arms, okay? We'll pull out what I call the sled, because it slides. And now we're going to pull out the landing gear, and I'll show you what I did to make a repair. Now, depending on your modeling skills, this is what you can do. So basically this whole thing was broken. So what I did was I took some styrene plastic and just created another arm, and then had some tube plastic and created a basically carved in a little notch there, similar to what you see right there at that little point. It's got a catch on the inside of this sled where those teeth are. It's got a catch like so. And then after I glued it together, I then drilled with a pin vise some holes and then put some small screws in. And that's pretty much it. There isn't any more to it than that. So once you get that done, you put it back down, and then we got to reassemble everything. So this pin right here, that goes into that hole. Oops. Lost that top gear there. Guy fits right there. Okay. And yeah. All right. And then we're going to take our screw and screw everything back down. Pretty simple. I mean, not overly built, that's for sure. Oops, wrong screwdriver. These are all Phillips, by the way. Pretty standard screws for Kenner. And now we're going to put the arm for the turret in. So this guy goes there, that guy goes there, and it fits in there. And then everything should rotate the way it should. Yep, perfect. Okay, now I'm going to put the sled on, and these two little arms go where the front landing gear is. And then that slides right like so. Now, incidentally, I end up using a little bit of lithium grease on the gears. This is what I use. And use that in the wheel bearings in the Model T, and it won't affect the plastic. And then these arms go in. You'll see there's a slot right there for it. Put that there. And and then we'll put that one right there. Now, when you put the other half on, make sure you retract the landing gear all the way. Okay, everything's there. And don't forget to put your pilot seat in. It sits in like so. And then if you have your two guns, make sure you put those in. And then we're going to put that into place. And now we're going to do a test run of the landing gear. So I open it back up here and make sure everything is fully extended, everything's all in place. And now we're going to reassemble it. Okay. And squeezing the parts together. That seems to act a little bit better. Now the last thing to do is to screw things back together, and once you do, just screw that down and then make sure that you don't over tighten the screw, because in the event that you do, you could crassly crack the posts that they are in. Now the final piece is then putting on the engine nacelles, and let's talk a little bit about some safety in doing that. Alright, now here's the ship that I purchased at the toy show, and as I mentioned, it's fairly complete. It's a unique variation, which I'll touch in another video you can watch, in that right up here, this little trapezoidal shape, in addition to the color of the yellow, is different than the other versions Kenner produced. Okay, so when you snap these arms in, what you want to do is to make sure that you get it aligned properly with the, I don't know what you call this, rear nacelle. And these go on only one way, so you want to rotate it around to where the notches here line up with that. So what you're going to do is you're going to put this in and then pull it back just a bit and then snap those into place. And it's as simple as that. This way you don't end up breaking a peg off. It's fairly soft plastic, but I ended up breaking a peg on one of these. It got really stuck in the hole on the rear nacelle. And I ended up having to re-drill things. So then all you do is just put on that cap, support cap, and just line things up with all four. It doesn't matter which way it goes. There's no top or bottom. And once you get all four in, then what you can do is start to shove the whole thing in uniformly. Okay? And then that's pretty much it. Of course, there's our sound. And if I had a bomb, that's the only thing that's missing, then this thing would be actually quite complete. So now the stickers that I took off, I'm going to apply, because this one's missing some stickers, and I'll have a fairly complete ship. Well, I hope you found this video useful, and give it a thumbs up if you did. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and we'll see you on another video.